What up? It's your boy T-Bone Reaction Day Wrestling Wednesday. I got the little one in the back. We're going to conclude the trilogy of wrestling flashbacks of Wrestling Getting Too Real. Let's say we'll do another video after this. This is the latest one. They literally released, I think they literally released this to yesterday. Yep, they released this a few days ago as well too. What's their latest one they have right now? Let me double check. Yeah, this is the most recent one a few days ago. This is 10 WWE promos that got uncomfortably real. Like I said, sometimes it can go where you're going on script or bringing real life drama. Sometimes some promos can get so real that it's uncomfortable. And it can actually something even throw folks off in their own promo. So that being said, we're gonna take a look at them 10 times that wrestling promos got too real that it became uncomfortable. So what I thought to do, let's check it out.
1, 2. Is this on?
Some promos hit extra hard, like when wrestlers come armed with vicious material against their opponents.
He's a part-time and fake-ass. I'm still here because you can't do your job.
From disrespectful jabs to flat-out burying.
Do you want to know what I see when I look in that ring? Women who have turned to reality television because they just weren't gifted enough to be actresses.
Not to mention those hard-hitting lines that help enhance the story being told.
Eddie ain't in heaven.
Oh yeah.
Eddie's down there. In hell.
We'll run through various examples today as we highlight 10 of the most savage WWE promos.
Yeah.
You're playing Little League with your little insults and your rhymes and your millions and millions and your finallys, and I'm in the big leagues come Royal Rumble. Understand, your arms are just too short to box with God.
On the August 16th Raw from '99, The Undertaker cut probably the worst promo of his career. It was a monotonous diatribe about how Taker left his partner Big Show alone in the desert with a bike that had no gas in it to prove that the Giant was actually tough.
I drove off and left him. What? I waited on the outskirts of the desert 2 days.
Get a little seed in the soon-to-be American Badass gimmick.
Days later, he comes walking out with a snake necktie and lizard boots, carrying his Harley Davidson on his shoulder.
This monologue drew crickets from the audience and was quite rightly buried by Chris Jericho, who was due to interrupt after only debuting the previous week.
You two morons couldn't string together 2 intelligent words, and I was forced to come out here and save this segment.
Jericho verbally destroyed the Phenom so much that it got Chris heat backstage after, especially since he was the new guy coming from enemy territory in WCW.
I bet too. I mean, granted, Chris Jericho promo skills is off the chain, man. Definitely, if you had some top 25, top whatever promos and tough guys, top people in the mic and WWE, Chris Jericho's up there for sure though. But yeah, the fact that he literally just got there, yeah, I can imagine that bringing some heat. You know, the promo was good. Just I can imagine that.
The only thing,
especially Taker at the time was the locker leader, so yeah. Not to mention Taker at the time I think was the locker leader around the time too. So yeah. You talking crap like that off the script about the locker leader, yeah, that's not good. It's good, but not good looking away.
So much that it got Chris heat backstage after, especially since he was the new guy coming from enemy territory in WCW.
The only thing scary about you two is the amount of TV time you get, which causes the people to pick up the remote and change the channel, looking for a hero.
It was pretty funny because I realized afterwards that I thought, maybe I better be a little bit more careful with things that I say about some of the guys.
Taker fired back at Y2J with some lines that resembled his future biker character more than that of the mythical Phenom.
But judging from that peach fuzz you're trying to grow on your chin, I can tell I got more shower time than you've got ring time.
All this interaction did was prove how out of depth this version of The Undertaker was in the Attitude Era. Since the promo styles of Jericho...
Yeah, that's probably would let him back in... Well, you know, he got injured, and he was injured and back away, but... And he recovered from injury as well, too. And he came back as American Badass because the badass character, the American Badass character, biker character, felt better with that current later Attitude Era than the the Lord Darkness one, to be honest.
Rock and Austin were becoming the norm rather than Taker's shtick, which was outdated by this point.
And I'm here to say that Raw is now dead and buried. And
you think about it, that was a good reason why they had him switch to that American Badass biker character, because around that time it was outdated as well too. As well, it's like this. It was good in the beginning of the Attitude Era when he was coming to his own and speaking more as well too. But at the same time, later on down the line with the rise of DX, Rock and Stone Cold being the top competitor, Triple H being the top competitor, and they didn't really have much of a gimmick. If you think about that, it was outdated in a way. So yeah. So I mean, him taking a little hiatus off an injury, I don't know, it was an injury or whatever, then come back to American Badass was the best decision they could make. That's why I like that version of Undertaker. You know, they're supposed to like the video, they love heels, but still, that's why I like that version of Undertaker.
Long live Raw is Jericho!
Jericho, being a mid-carder at the time, got in trouble for burying Taker, a main eventer. But a month earlier, it was the opposite, as The Rock, who was among the biggest stars in the company, verbally laid down to a mid-carder of Billy Gunn. During this period, the Great Ones rose to...
Poor Billy, man. Oh, man, poor Billy. His run got stifled just off of Rock's promo. Damn.
Against lower card wrestlers often hit harder since they were rarely given the promo time to respond.
The British Bulldog, The Rock says, who is the British Bulldog to The Rock? A nothing, a nobody, a blemish on The Rock's buttocks. The Rock says this, British Bulldog, you run your mouth about how you're a big dog, about how you've got a big bark. Well, The Rock says your bark, quite frankly, sounds like this.
The promo on Gunn occurred on the July 11th edition of Sunday Night Heat and is one of the most recitable Rock promos of all time, as the Brahma Bull pretended to be God speaking to Billy.
Oh dear God, my name's Billy, and I just won King of the Ring, but there's one problem. Everybody still thinks that I absolutely suck. Your house started to shake, the heavens opened up, and God himself spoke to you and said this, Bob, but my name's Billy. It doesn't matter what your name is.
Damn.
Though Gunn did
Ross Simmons. Damn.
Score a pinfall victory over Rock on television, it was otherwise a one-sided feud, with this promo being the highlight.
You must go find The Rock. Oh my God, anybody but The Rock. No, you're wrong, and shut your mouth.
Damn it.
This wasn't the only time Gunn got roasted hard on the mic after winning the 2001 King of the Ring.
He really, that whole promo really was stifled Billy's career though, man. It's just, you think about it, dang.
Edge's promo against Billy was just as brutal, mainly because of how far Gunn had fallen down the pecking order since the Rock feud.
1999 is so 2 years ago. And it's not my fault if you've done a big pile of nothing since then. That I will not Billy Gunn this King of the Ring title. That the first act in the era of awesomeness will be to totally annihilate Billy Bitch Cakes.
The Rock was among those on the receiving end of our next tirade, courtesy of CM Punk. Punk has cut many savage promos in his time, but the one on Raw from January 7th, 2013 was particularly memorable. Punk sought to cut another pipe bomb, doing so by once again calling out the WWE and their imaginary brass rings, something Punk was still fighting against despite being the WWE champ.
Here's the truth about the WWE is that it doesn't matter if you're the best wrestler, it doesn't matter if you're the best talker, it doesn't matter if you're the best overall performer, it doesn't matter if you make the two clowns sitting to my left on commentary look like amateur hour. There is a glass ceiling and nobody is allowed to break it.
Punk brought up various wrestlers and mentioned how John Cena had constantly been in main events, despite supposedly having the worst year of his career.
Why do you think a guy like John Cena, who has admittedly had the worst year of his career, gets title shot after title shot after title shot after title shot? Or why an invisible child Little Jimmy is better positioned on the flagship show Monday Night Raw than a workhorse like Tyson Kidd.
These were legit frustrations of fans at the time, since John was still main eventing shows instead of Punk, who'd been champion for over a year.
Duffy one of these dilemmas, conflict dilemmas right now, because you know, CM Punk was the heel, and he supposed to be against the heel, but at the same time, he said some shit was like, you want to agree, but he's the heel. You can't agree unless you're the heel fan, you know, and you're part of the heels always right bullshit, whatever. Sorry, it comes from BS, whatever. Still, but yeah, it's definitely a conflicted situation right there, you know, because you're trying to fight the fact that you don't want to make those heel fans who say heels always nothing's always right, whatever, right as well too. You want to fight against that as well too. So yeah.
Then Punk went at The Rock, his upcoming opponent at the Royal Rumble.
You can make fun of the color of my t-shirt, and you can talk about pie, and you can sing songs, and you can rhyme, and you can do your tired, lame-ass shtick. I just want you to know that come Royal Rumble, I'm gonna kick your ass, because I'm the best in the world.
The WWE champion called out the Great One for relying on comedy, doing so in a way that really built intrigue for their match.
You're playing Little League with your little insults and your rhymes and your millions and millions and your finallys, and I'm in the big leagues, and I'm swinging for the fence.
Punk closed with an iconic line to top off one of his best ever promos.
Come Royal Rumble, understand when you step in the ring, your arms are just too short to box with God.
Punk's now wife and girlfriend at the time, AJ Lee, dropped her own pipe bomb on Raw 7 months later. The show Total Divas had just debuted, while AJ was champion, so she cut a
Punk kind of rubbed off on AJ on this
scathing promo on the cast from the show, who were all in the ring and at ringside.
I just watched last night's episode of Total Divas. I mean, the Bellas were dealing with their obvious daddy issues. Natalia's fiance isn't much of a man.
AJ spoke about how she had brought prestige to the title, only for those in front of her to steal the spotlight with the new reality show.
Do you want to know what I see when I look in that ring? A bunch of cheap, interchangeable, expendable, useless women. Women who have turned to reality television because they just weren't gifted enough to be actresses.
The promo was unfair on Natalya and Naomi, both who were on the Total Divas show, but were actually good wrestlers at the time, unlike the others who AJ went at.
I have shattered glass ceilings. I have broken down doors. Why? So a bunch of ungrateful, stiff plastic mannequins can waltz on through without even as much as a thank you? You just skipped!
AJ had been a vocal point of storylines in 2012, but hadn't competed for the Divas Championship within that time. Meanwhile, barely anything of note happened with the title throughout the previous year. So at least now, following this promo, the division finally had a story being told.
I have done more in 1 year than all of you have done in your entire collective career.
Another time, like I say, of conflicting, because, you know, she was a heel, but at the same time, you don't want to agree. You try not to agree with her because she's just a heel. But you know, if you're a heel fan, you're like, "Yep, you're no example. Hope your heels are right, whatever."
Years.
So I was just like, "Oh, I did a good promo." and I had no idea like everything that would happen after, and it would cause like 6 months of like pay-per-view title matches. Yeah, which I thought that was my favorite part of it. It was like we got to do a story for every single girl, every single pay-per-view after that.
In 2006, the WWE frequently used Eddie Guerrero's passing in storylines. There were a few infamous examples.
Eddie ain't in heaven. Eddie's down there.
That was up though. That was up though.
In hell.
Yeah, I ain't gonna lie. I ain't gonna lie. That didn't sit right with me as well too. Especially being somebody a man of God as well too. I know I cuss, but I'm a man of God, and that didn't sit right with me. That did not sit with me every time we did that. But I guess he had to because he's heel. But still, same time, the fact that I know it's scripted in a way, it didn't sit right with me.
Oh, maybe he's not. I don't know, and I don't care.
Right.
But one which fans may have forgotten is Mark Henry's promo from the June 30th SmackDown. Henry was being pushed as an unstoppable monster heel at the time, so WWE had him disparage the Guerrero family to get heat.
See, Chavo Guerrero is just a parasite, sucking off the Guerrero name. In fact, all of Guerreros are parasites. That's true, I know all of them.
Mark then dropped another shocking line.
Of course, Jamie Young going to add on because you know there's a little few with Eddie.
Spit on the Guerrero name, and I spit on you, Chavo Guerrero. And if your Uncle Eddie was still alive, I would spit on him.
And here comes Chavo Guerrero.
After that, Henry proceeded to single-handedly destroy both Chavo and world champion Rey Mysterio at the same time. It's also worth noting that neither man would ever get any form of revenge on Henry, which was odd booking, especially given Mox's comments. Bret Hart's heel turn in 1997 was so burning, in a sense that he began to complain more and more each week. The true tipping point was his promo on the go-home Raw for WrestleMania 13 before Bret's match with Stone Cold. After being screwed out,
oh yes, oh yeah, the infamous Bret Hart Snappy. Oh yes.
Title in a cage match versus Sid, Bret went nuts.
Oh yo, if anybody had the most emphasis on the S word, he had the most emphasis on the S word ever, goes to Bret Hart. Please don't censor it. Please let him say it.
Moaning about constantly being cheated.
Extremely frustrated over what has just happened.
Whoa! Frustrated isn't a goddamn word for it. This is bullshit.
Yo, he has so much emphasis on that S word, especially when he said tough. Yo, tough. In the S word.
Horn cursed in a way rarely seen in WWF at the time, showing how good he could be as a heel.
Cut him off. You don't like it, tough shit.
It was
I remember watching it. Never heard anybody have so much emphasis of that S word like Bret did. Oh my god, yo. I remember watching that literally live and hear him say that. Cause at the time, and the thing about it, it was kind of like it wasn't too as shocking. Cause at the time, if you watch WWE at the time faithfully, Raw was uncut. Then you had Superstar when they did the bleeping. Or a recap of the recap of a Sunday on Raw, or like Action Zone or something like that, and they'll bleep it out. But Raw, yeah, they had some cuss words. They was cussing on there. They was cussing on there like crazy on there. I remember Undertaker's would say that Ultimate Warrior cussed out Triple H somebody when he made his return as somebody else, and then Jerry Lawler called Goldust the F word, not the F word, but the F word, the other F word that rhyme with maggot. Oh yeah, but the way he said the S word, he put so much emphasis on it. It was like, if you look back, it was so hilarious. But until you watch it, it was like, it was shocking, but not as shocking because you hear it. But the fact he said it with so much emphasis, it was shocking. Because at the time, he was a face. It was like the time. It was like leading to his Hilton right there.
Entertaining to see the Hitman unleashed like this.
Because he was like the family friendly wrestler that start cussing.
You know why they call you Stone Cold? Because your stones are so cold. Your stones, you won't come out here and step in the ring with me yourself. You always gotta jump me from behind. You got the guts to come out.
That whole segment was so good. Then Taco said you, and then Brett said, "You think that title belongs you? You got nothing that you know it's a title of mine." And then Taco said, "I don't know, crowd baby." Yo, that whole segment was so gold. Oh man.
Come on.
Fans could really feel the rage in his words, but the fact that he went at them too made this more of a heel promo, despite the fact Bret's complaints were legit. Just like Bret's work with Austin, Jim Cornette's shoot promos on Raw in late '97 was another prime example of how WWF was shifting to an edgier, more attitudinal product. There were two segments in particular where Cornette raised hell by burying the NWO, WCW, and its wrestlers. The first was on October 6th, when Jim first took aim at the New World Order.
The NWO was like a bunch of guys meeting out in the backyard in a clubhouse in a tree. All they have to do is go out there and be themselves. Childish, obnoxious, adolescent guys with a case of severe arrested emotional development and a fixation on trying to act macho.
Corny then singled out Kevin Nash.
You got a guy like Kevin Nash, 40 years old, trying to act like a teenager. As far as I'm concerned, the biggest no talent in the business.
Was he 40 at
Six
time?
moves,
Hold on. Was he 40 at time? Was he 40? Hold up. Was he 40? Give me a second. I know he was that old. Hold on. When NWO started, or he just exaggerating. 96. Hold on a second. 38. Close enough. Jesus. Because he's like one of the real ones that did not look old. He actually looked his age. He actually looked young.
And enough time to cover up for some of it.
Sean Waltman perhaps got it the worst from James E.
Oh.
And then you got a guy, 6, 1, 2, 3 kid. His name's Sean Waltman, whatever you want to call him.
Yeah.
Well, as far as I'm concerned, the only reason that he's employed is because the other guys think that he's funny when he gets drunk and throws up on himself.
Jim also buried.
Oh, damn. And the effed up part about it is probably real. He dealt with, substance abuse himself too. I mean, he came out of it great as well too. I mean, but at the same time, he dealt with it as well too. We found out later on. We didn't know about it at the time though. But yeah, wow.
Eric Bischoff for spending lots of billionaire Ted Turner's money.
So he takes that billionaire's money and he throws it around like water to buy guys that he can hang around with to prove that his Johnson is bigger than everybody else.
A few weeks later on the October 27th Raw, Cornette had words for the WWF's own Shawn Michaels and the Heartbreak Kid's bad attitude backstage.
Well, Shawn Michaels is still the single most talented athlete in wrestling today inside the ring. But outside, he's an adolescent, obnoxious jerk who takes his tights and goes home if he doesn't get his way.
He pretty much did not like the click. It wasn't in WO. He just pretty much did not like the click. That's what it was. And think about it. He wasn't the only one. Here, I heard Vader didn't like him. There's a lot of people did not like the click. Because if you're like a backstage gang, their chances of it feel like, and it seems like they're getting the most privileged than y'all, everybody else. I can understand. Yeah, a lot of people did not like the click, no matter who it was. Dead serious.
He ranted about the previous night's cage match between Hulk Hogan and Roddy Piper at WCW's Halloween Havoc.
By the 10-minute mark, they were sucking wind so bad, the first 3 rows passed out of oxygen deprivation. Would have been funny if it wasn't so sad. This match was a slap in the face to every wrestler that takes pride in his profession.
Cornette closed with
that was pretty much his a precursor of what we got now with the Cornette reviews you get nowadays. That's pretty much what that is. He was giving us a future, a look into the future of what we got now with the Cornette reviews. Now, I mean, is that what they call the Cornette reviews? Now, that is literally what we got right here. That is literally the future Cornette reviews. What do you call them? The Cornette reviews. That is literally the precursor of the Cornette reviews right there.
The parting shot to the Hulk.
It'd be funny when Ross watched this. He probably will mess around saying the same damn thing. Shout out to King of the Roll. He will probably say the same thing. We literally are getting the Cornette reviews ahead of before YouTube ever existed right there.
And on a personal note to Hulk Hogan, you are a household word, but so is garbage.
I'm gonna pause because I'm gonna comment on this video. And I had to put it on the video. I had to make the comment on the video. This is literally the precursor of the Cornette reviews we get now on YouTube. Right here. Before it existed.
When it gets old too. I'm Jim Cornette, and that's my opinion.
Cornette's frenemy, Paul Heyman, was in dire straits by June 2000. Extreme Championship Wrestling show on TNN was set to be replaced by WWF Raw. Meanwhile, Paul and ECW were about to go bust. TNN were one of the contributors.
You ready to get off the air video? If it's so, yes.
To this, since the network barely advertised or put any money behind the Extreme promotion, while also trying to water down and censor their edgy product. Fed with the network's treatment, Heyman cut a shoot promo that aired for ECW on TNN's show. Paul lamented the lack of promotion and how much TNN had failed ECW.
I'd like to take this moment to thank you for watching ECW. You have to be an ECW fan to watch this show because God knows the network has never put out one freaking commercial or one press release to let you know that we're here.
Hold on a second. I got you. He wanted his little mic right there. Oh yes, this right here. I heard about this a while back, and I see it every time on these pipe bomb videos and all of that. This show is so fun, especially the end part. If they show it, yes. Oh yes.
But that's their scheme of things. You see, in just a few weeks, the network is going to give $100 million to Vince McMahon like he needs it to replace us. in case they haven't thrown us off before then.
Heyman was at his wit's end with little left to lose. He spat bullets at TNN.
We hate this stinking network. We hate their guts for abandoning us. We hate their guts for not supporting us. We hate their guts for not advertising us. And we hate their guts for not having the balls to throw us off the air. And just in case you're watching this, hey, network, I dare you to throw me off the air. Look, I'm going to break every rule that you put in front of me until you throw me.
See that little video right there of him taking out, because you guess you know what that was that long haired dude he took out was POS Callis back then.
The hell off the air.
Here we go.
It was a legendary promo that embodied the rebellious spirit of ECW.
Are you ready to throw us off the air yet?
We all remember John Cena up where he savagely
Oh, wait for right there. Yup, he left. Yup, are you ready? He said, are you ready to throw some air? Yes, I'm gonna wait for right there. I gotta see it again.
Until you throw me the hell off the air.
Yes.
It was a legendary promo that embodied the rebellious spirit of ECW.
Are you ready to throw us off the air yet?
There's the way he's about to like, are you ready to throw the air yet? That would never be that funny to me. That would never be unfunny to me. Oh my God.
Where he savagely tore down countless wrestlers in hilarious fashion. One of the most hard-hitting came against Big Show on the December 11, 2003 SmackDown. The Giant had dressed like a rapper and already spit some bars of his own, so now it was...
And it was even also about this is around time Cena was a babyface with a thugonomic character, yes.
Time for Cena to shrink Show down to size.
Could you repeat that last line? I didn't really get that. I just heard you heavy breathing, dude, and choking on your neck fat.
Yup.
John's bars were ruthless, but Show's brilliant reactions to each line made them that much better.
I can't believe how out of shape that you getting. You've been talking for 30 seconds, dude. You already sweating.
Yup.
Cena made fun of Show's eating habits, hygiene, and weight.
Did you eat from the toilet? I'm smelling mysterious gases. Oh, bro. Close your mouth. You get the breath of 1,000 asses. Yo, it's either that or you rocking some phony pits. You just a fat slob with hairy baloney. You need to hit them sit-ups too. You're not exactly the leanest. Forget seeing me, bro. You can't see your own penis.
John finished up with a ball shot for good measure.
So now your rap career is over. It's time for you to quit. Ain't no place for a 500-pound talking piece of...
Yeah.
Perhaps Cena's most savage promo of all time, however, came against Roman Reigns on the August 28th episode of Raw from 2017. This occurred during the period where fans were fed up with WWE, pushing Roman down their throats, similar to how they did with Cena a decade previous. Only Roman was a lot further behind where John was at the same stage. For that reason, it was fitting that Cena said the things he did to Reigns.
I don't know if anyone's ever told you this. They go back and forth with you. Because when they look at you, they see what I see. A cheap-ass, corporately created John Cena bootleg.
When Reigns stopped mid-sentence and paused, John swooped in and savaged the big dog before he could say anything.
Yeah, specific promo with John Cena.
Oh, yeah, that was one of them. Yeah.
Was that you blanked?
I'm trying to think back. Yeah, I believe I did, yeah.
And second of all...
Yep. It's no problem.
Go ahead, find it. Go ahead. It's called a promo,
Shut your mouth,
if you want to be the big dog, you're going to have to learn how to do it, so go ahead. See you, fourth wall!
John's words didn't just cut through Roman. They were also an indictment of how WWE failed to book a top babyface to replace Cena.
I'm still here because you can't do your job.
Sadly, this is why we are dealing with the whole heel versus over Facebook BS for some certain wrestling fans, you know? Like that dickhead Dollar. Yeah, I'm calling him dickhead. He's sorry to say that in front of him, but he's been on this dickhead shit about talking trash about face as well too. One with the you see, this is why we like heels on face because his name was example and all this crap. Then downplaying Jay for getting the treatment he got because you know what happened. He was a heel, or you know Jay got this treatment. He got to go through the tournament, Gunther went through 1 month of stuff and all this, and then now he's entitled. Yeah, be a face all you want. Like, I'm over folks downplaying faces like this hatred for good guys and love for villains is ridiculous at this point.
Something John had previously been vocal about in out-of-character interviews.
A lot of the reason the reactions are the way they are is for quite a few years, WWE didn't step up to the plate and correctly provide new main event talent.
Cena's mic drop moment came after Reigns ragged on John for being a part-timer. Famous last words, to say the least.
He's a part-timing, fake-ass.
And ironically, he said the same thing about him and Brock Lesnar, and then look at him now. It's crazy how ironic that is.
You should be ashamed I'm a part-timer. Because I can do this part-time better than you could ever do it full-time.
Now, if you enjoyed this video, be sure to check out our similar video.
This was good. It brought back some lovely moments right there, especially one, the Bret Hart joint, and the Bret Hart situation, the Bret Hart snapping, and the Jim Cornette one, like giving the and of course the baby. Are you ready? Hold on, I gotta do it. I gotta do the word right. Hold on, I gotta do it. Are you ready to throw the air yet? Yeah. Other than that, if you like my reaction, this like, share, subscribe, YouTube channel. It's your boy T-Bear and Lil TJ signing off. This is gonna be the last video. One love.